Hello, welcome to Tier Nerd. This time around, I will be reviewing games that start with the letter L. See, I'm running out of ideas, but I did notice there were a lot of games that I have not reviewed yet that start with L, so I thought let's just group them all together. So we got 8 games that I have not covered yet that all start with L. Usually, Legend, Legend of Legaia, Legend of Dragoon, Legend of Heroes, and we got 2 Lunar games, Lufia and Last Remnant. So they all start with L. But let's get it. Let's get it in a different order here. Um, we'll get the Lunar games at the end. Let's get Last Remnant over here. Okay, yeah, this is a good order. Let's do this. So let's start with Legend of Legaia. So Legend of Legaia is a great game. I think I'm going to put it up to A tier immediately. It's a good classic PS1 RPG. Very unique. It's like a fighting. It's still a normal JRPG, turn based and everything, but the battle system's interesting. Is where you input commands up, down, left, and right, and they're like fighting combos and very different battle system. It's the game's a little bit hard, and to get the combos, you might want to use a guide so you're not like randomly guessing and learning them. But yeah, it's a fun game, very unique. The magic system and the storyline, very different, very different type of a game. And those are the kinds of games I enjoy, the ones that are different. That aren't generic. Those are the good games. So Legend of Gaia is a good classic. Some people would love to see it remade, but yeah, a great game. I don't know what else to say. Just A tier, good music. Let's see, Legend of Legaia 2 didn't quite live up to it. B or C tier. Legend of Gaia 2 just kind of more generic. It improves on some of the stuff from Legend of Legaia 1. Since Legend of Legaia 2 is a PS2 RPG, the graphics are better, and it's less clunky in some ways. Legend of Legaia could be really slow, for example. Legend of Legaia 2 is a little smoother, but other than that, Legend of Gaia 2 just didn't quite, but just was not quite as interesting um, to play. Yeah, like I think the storyline probably had a little bit to do with it. Legend of Gaia had a very interesting storyline. Legend of Gaia 2 just wasn't quite there. Some games you can kind of tell they just kind of put in some random like mediocre anime style storyline, very cheesy and cringy and cliche, Yeah, cheesy, cringy, cliche. So the 3 C's that you don't want to see in an anime. So Legend of the Gaia 2. Yeah, not quite as good. If I was being super strict, I might even put it down to C, but I think B is fair. Legend of Dragoon. Legend of Dragoon was fun. Maybe not quite like Legend of the Gaia. I think I'll put it a little lower, but Legend of Dragoon's a decent game. I'm not really into I hate time button presses. I'm not good at that. And Legend of Dragoon did use this time button press battle system, and that took some time to get used to, but it wasn't bad once you got over it. And it was a good game. 4 discs, very interesting. Every character is a little bit different. It's sort of like a JRPG with that's a little not quite like Japanese, Like you can kind of tell there's a bit of an American Western influence in it, I think. But yeah, it was a good game, unique storyline. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's kind of old. You can tell by the graphics the game's kind of old, but the cutscenes were amazing, like for the time, and I think it's still a classic. Like there's still people that enjoy to play these games, like Legend of Dragoon. People still enjoy these games. Then we got Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky. So I only played the first one, which was a solid game. I don't know where to put it. I think I'll put it in A tier, but below Legend of Dragoon. Um, yeah, I enjoyed it. I never got around to playing the second or third game. I should have at some I want to at some point, but I just never got around to it playing the second and third game. But first game was solid, and yeah, I don't know what to say. It just kind of yeah, like the storyline's a little bit different, just like the way they talk and the way the game plays out, but it's still a JRPG. And I don't know much about the franchise. I know Legend of Heroes is a very long franchise with lots of games in it. This is the only one I've played, and yeah, it's got that interesting game mechanic where you put nodes into your uh, equipment, and then you get different combos, something like that. I forget. It's been years since I played it, but anyway, I just remember it was a decent game. I think I ended up getting all the achievements on Steam for it. Um, let's see. Then we got Lufia. Now Lufia is overrated, like very overrated. In fact, it's kind of generic, almost to the point where I want to put it in C tier. And I would say, yeah, this is Lufia, very overrated. Um, I almost want to put it in C tier just because there's nothing about this game that stands out. Like seriously, like I don't know why people really enjoy it. Like some people would probably say it's A tier maybe, because it's just so generic. Like literally, like if you think like generic RPG, that this is it. This is the generic RPG, Lufia. Okay, the storyline might be a little better than generic. The storyline, but how the game plays out in the battles and everything, it's like super generic as it gets. Um, yeah, like almost like it was made like right out of RPG Maker, almost like just generic RPG. Lufia. So yeah, C tier. I actually finished it, and it was pretty good. But yeah, still not that great. Like super high C tier, maybe low B tier. Then I played Lufia 2. I didn't put it here, but I did play Lufia 2 for a few hours, and I think I attempted the game like two or three times. And Lufia 2, I just couldn't get into it. Like I just felt like it's the same thing as Lufia. Like Lufia 2 maybe is a little better. Maybe if I finished it, I would probably maybe say it's B tier but I just couldn't get into it. Like it's probably not that much better than Lufia 1. Um, it just once again, I just never quite understood why people praise this franchise. Like, I mean, I played the old Super Nintendo version. I don't know if the remakes make the game better, but it's pretty generic. Sometimes I agree with the main public, with the main with public opinion on a game. Sometimes I completely disagree. That this is one of those times where I think a game is just a tad overrated. Then we got Lunar. Lunar is a decent series. Yeah, like Lunar One, I enjoyed. Like it's I don't know what to say, but yeah, it's an RPG. You got like um, you move around on a screen. Like I forget the battle system a little bit because it has been a long time since I played it. It's been years, I think, since I played these two. But I played the PlayStation versions. I know these games have been remade like several times. I know that, but Lunar One and Two I played on PlayStation. So I don't know where to rank them. I don't know if I would put Lunar One in B. I don't know. I had fun with them. Like they were pretty unique. Like to be honest, like I really want to put both of them in A tier. I just don't know where they match up with like Trails in the Sky, Legend of Heroes. I don't know where I would put them exactly. I mean, Legend of Heroes 2, like Lunar 2 is pretty memorable. Like Lunar 1 and Lunar 2 had great soundtracks. And so, I don't know. Like they were just really memorable with the storyline and the characters. Lunar 1, you had less options, it was more primitive. Lunar 2 got a little more complex where you had a lot more variety in your skills and techniques and everything. So, and I never really did finish the post game. I beat the game, but I didn't get like the true ending. I didn't get that far. I got bored by then. But I did put in like probably 50 hours into Lunar 2 by then. So Lunar 1, Lunar 2, yeah, I think they deserve A tier. Maybe on the lower end of A tier, but I think I'd rate them like this. They were fun games. Then finally we have Last Remnant. Now Last Remnant, this kind of like with Grandia Extreme. My feelings are very similar. Like the first time I played it, it was kind of it was pretty tough and excruciating. I might have put it in B or C tier. It's kind of a masochist game. I played it on Steam, which I hear is better. Like apparently the original Xbox version was really bad, like very grueling and very punishing, and you had to use a guide. Like this is one of those games where you use a guide. Definitely use a guide for this game. Find out all the mechanics. You have to be kind of You have to be a little bit hardcore. You have to be kind of a hardcore JRPG fan to enjoy it. Last Remnant, some people say it's like a spiritual successor to the Saga series. In some ways, I do agree that it has a lot of the same ideas. It's non-linear like the Saga series, and the leveling up system is unorthodox and it's just interesting game. Like if you're into like stuff like that, it's different. Like so, the first time it was kind of tough, but I didn't get to do a lot of the post game stuff, and my final party wasn't that great. So I was like, okay, I need to do a better job. So I played it again later, and I had a failed attempt, and then I quit, and then I used the guide on Steam, and I used that guide, and that guide helped me a lot. So it helped me make this awesome party, and I ended up enjoying the game because I ended up doing everything in the game. All the side quests had this amazing party, and it's fun. The storyline itself is very short, but the game is very non-linear, and you have a lot. There's a lot of side quests, so it's really about how much you want to do extra. Definitely use a guide. So it's a bit of a masochist game. You know, for some people this is C or D tier, and I understand. For me, I did end up enjoying it, even though it was difficult, and I think I put an A tier. I don't know Legend of the Guy or so I don't know. I might put an A tier. I don't think it deserves S tier just because it has plenty of flaws. Like it has enough flaws where I don't think it quite deserves an S tier spot. But for me, it's a solid A rank game. I did end up enjoying it. That's it. So yeah, look, I even ended up making an upside down L. See, look at this L. Okay, so see that's a coincidence. Anyway, that's the end of this video.